Do not miss what I am doing today. I need you to hear that before this day goes any further, before the next task, before the next distraction, before today becomes yesterday without you having received what I have been moving toward you. Today is not an ordinary day. It may look ordinary. The same demands, the same routine, the same waiting you have been walking through for longer than you wanted to. But what is happening behind what you can see is not ordinary at all. I am moving today, right now, in the unseen places connected to your finances, your calling, your family, your future. Things are shifting that have not shifted in a long time. A door that has been in preparation is moving. A blessing that has been held is being released. An assignment that has been operating against your provision. I am breaking it. Today, not next week, not when the conditions align perfectly. Today. And the reason I interrupted your life with this specific word at this specific moment is simple. You are about to miss it. Not because you are faithless, not because you are not paying attention, but because today looks like every other day from the outside, and the most significant days often do. The morning of the miracle looks just like the morning before it, and I could not let this one pass without telling you. Look again, pay attention. Something is happening. This is not the moment to drift away. The most important part of this message is not what I just said. It is what comes next, and it arrives sooner than you think. Stay with me, my beloved child. I know what today looks like from where you are standing. I know it does not feel like a significant day. I know it arrived with the same weight the days before it carried. The same financial pressure that greeted you before your eyes were fully open. The same unresolved situation that has been sitting in the same place for weeks or months. The same gap between where you are and where you prayed you would be by now. I know you woke up this morning and felt the familiar shape of the waiting before you felt anything else. I was there in that moment. I did not look away. I know the specific prayer you have been praying over your finances. Not the general prayer, the specific one. The one that asks me to move on the number you know, the gap you're staring at, the provision that has not yet arrived from the direction you've been watching. I know how long you've been praying it. I know how the language of it has changed across the months. From confident declaration to honest pleading to the kind of quiet, worn-down asking that does not have much energy left in it, but will not stop entirely. I received every version of that prayer. I have not missed a single one. I saw you the day you looked at what was in your hands, and then looked at what the need required, and felt the distance between the two. I saw the calculation you did not mean to do, but could not stop yourself from doing. I saw the way your chest tightened in that moment. I was there, not distant, present, and working on something you could not yet see. I heard the conversation you had with yourself about your calling. The quiet, internal negotiation between the version of you that still believes and the version of you that is exhausted from believing without visible return. I heard the moment you almost talked yourself out of something I placed in you. I heard the question underneath the question. God, is this actually going to happen for me? Or am I deceiving myself? I heard that, every word of it. And today, I am answering it. I know what it has cost you to keep showing up. To the prayers, to the faith, to the daily choosing of trust when the evidence has been slow to cooperate. I know the specific thing in your family that is not resolved the way you prayed. I know the relationship that carries a tension you have not been able to name or fix. I know the dream I placed in you that has been sitting quietly in the back of your heart, visited less frequently now than it used to be, because visiting it started to cost more than you could afford. I was there on the day something in your spirit seemed to go quiet. Not a dramatic shift, a gradual one. The particular aliveness that comes from expectation. The feeling that something is on its way. It has been quieter lately. Not gone, but quieter. You have been functioning, praying, moving through the days. But there is a part of you that has been moving through them with a kind of low-grade numbness, the spiritual equivalent of getting through rather than living through. I know that today looked like another one of those days. It is not. What you have been calling delay, I have been calling preparation. What you have been calling silence, I have been calling the space in which I have been working. What you have been calling ordinary, I have been calling the day before everything changes. And today is that day. There is something that has been working against you in this season, and you have not fully seen it yet. I am about to name it, and the naming is the beginning of the end of its power. Type, "I am paying attention, Lord," in the comments right now if something in you recognizes that today is different, and you are ready to hear what God is doing. Before I tell you what I am doing today, I need to tell you who you are. Because what I am doing today is connected to who you are. And who you are is not who the waiting has been telling you that you are. You were not placed in this specific time by accident. The year you are living in, the season you are in, the specific set of circumstances, the financial pressure, the relational complexity, the waiting, the praying, none of it is random. You were placed here deliberately. For this time. For what I am doing right now. And what I am doing right now requires someone with exactly what you have been built through. Before your first breath, I already chose you for this moment. Not the future version of you that has everything figured out. Not the version that prayed its way into a season of visible abundance. This version, the one that has been pressing through the waiting, the one that has kept showing up to faith when faith felt like work, the one that woke up this morning not knowing that today was the day. That version, specifically chosen, I have engraved your name on the palms of my hands. Not your name as you feel it right now, worn, waiting, carrying more than anyone around you knows. Your name as I have always known it, called, appointed, covered, prepared for exactly this. Pay attention now, because this is the part the numbness does not want you to receive. There was a servant of the prophet Elisha who woke up one morning to find that the city was surrounded. Armies, horses, chariots. The enemy had come in the night and positioned itself against everything the servant could see. And the servant said, "What shall we do?" The situation looked impossible. The threat was real. The danger was visible and large and everywhere. And Elisha prayed one prayer, not a long prayer, one request. "Lord, open his eyes." That is all he asked. And when the servant's eyes were opened, he saw horses and chariots of fire on the mountains. The army of heaven, already positioned, already surrounding what the enemy thought it had surrounded. The servant could not see them until his eyes were opened. But they were there before he could see them. They had been there all along. My beloved child, your eyes are being opened today. What looks like an ordinary day under siege, the financial pressure surrounding you, the relational tension that feels like an army, the waiting that seems to have you outnumbered, is not what it appears. I am already surrounding what is surrounding you. The armies of heaven are already positioned around what the enemy thinks he has closed in on. You could not see them, but they were there. They have been there. And today, I am opening your eyes. You are not someone who is losing. You are someone who could not yet see how thoroughly they were covered. That changes now. I am your provision when the numbers do not add up. I am your clarity when the path is obscured. I am your defender in the spiritual realm against what has been assigned against your name. I am the God who is doing something today. Something specific, something real. Something that has been in preparation longer than you know. And you are the person I am doing it for. You were worth preparing this for. And still, you are. Now hear me clearly, because what I am about to say is what has been operating in the unseen places connected to your life, and what I am dismantling today, specifically with the authority that belongs to me. There has been an assignment against your finances, not bad luck, not poor decisions alone, not simply the natural consequence of a difficult season. An active, targeted, spiritual assignment against the provision I intended to flow in your direction. It has been operating in the background of your financial life, interfering with streams of income before they reached you, creating gaps where there should have been supply, draining what arrived before it could accumulate. You have felt it as the persistent, exhausting sense that no matter how faithfully you manage what you have, there is always a gap, always barely enough, always the pressure that should have eased by now, but has not. That assignment is being broken today. I am addressing it in the authority that belongs to me, dismantling what was constructed against your provision, clearing what was placed in the path of the blessing I prepared, opening what was closed against what I intended to flow to you. The financial door that should have opened before now, I am moving on it today. There has been a generational pattern operating in your family line, something that did not begin with you, but that has been shaping the landscape of your life in ways you have not always been able to trace to their source. A cycle of lack, a cycle of broken relationships, a cycle of almost enough, almost healed, almost free, that has replayed across generations without anyone having the tools to fully break it. I see it, I have always seen it, and today I am addressing it at the root, not at the surface. At the root. What has been passed down stops here. With you. In this generation. What your parents carried and their parents carried before them. The invisible weight of it. The patterns it created. The ceiling it placed on what was possible. I am lifting it. Today. And what I lift does not settle back down when I remove my hand. The breaking is permanent. There has been something clinging to your name in the spiritual realm. A label, an accusation, a false assignment attached to your identity that has been functioning like a filter on how blessing reaches you. Your name was meant to be a seal of what I declared over you before you were born. Called, chosen, covered, appointed. But something has been working to attach a different declaration to it. A declaration of lack, of limitation, of undeservingness. And every time that false declaration was operating, it was closing something I was trying to open for you. Today, I am clearing your name. I am addressing what has been attached to it that does not belong there. I am restoring the declaration I spoke over you before the world had a chance to speak anything else. The name I know you by, the one engraved in my palms, that is the name I am clearing in the spiritual realm today. He has been working on your expectation, not through one dramatic attack, through the long, patient erosion of hoping, through the accumulation of days that did not produce the visible result, through the slow replacement of confident expectation with the kind of numb survival that goes through the motions of faith without the aliveness that makes faith feel like faith. He did not need to destroy your belief. He only needed to hollow it out, to leave the form of it while draining the expectation from it. But he did not account for today. He did not account for the fact that I would interrupt this specific day with this specific word at the specific moment when the erosion had gone as far as I was willing to allow it to go. He did not account for the fact that I am not only working on your circumstances, I am working on your capacity to receive what I am bringing. And today, as the assignment is being broken, as the generational pattern is being dismantled, as your name is being cleared, I am also restoring the expectation, the aliveness, the specific, personal, forward-leaning hope that belongs to someone who knows their God is doing something real right now. Where he has been working to blind you to what I am doing, I am opening your eyes. Where he has been working to exhaust your expectation, I am restoring it. Where he has been working to make today look ordinary, I am declaring it is not. Do not treat this like another video. What I am naming right now is the most important spiritual intelligence you will receive in this season. And what I am about to release over your life, over your finances, your calling, your family, is the evidence that what I am doing today is real. Now hear what is being released. Hear what moves into the cleared space. The specific things I am doing today that you were about to miss. You have been pressing toward financial relief. I am releasing provision. Not the kind that barely covers, the kind that begins to create margin. Not the trickle that has been coming, the stream I intended. What has been interfering with the flow of what I prepared for you is being removed today. And what flows in when the interference is cleared is not what you scraped together in the blocked season. It is what I prepared before the block existed, marked with your name, released today. You have been praying for the gap to close. I am closing it. Not from the direction you have been watching, from a direction you were not expecting. The unexpected source, the conversation you did not plan. The opportunity that arrives from a place you stopped looking because looking had started to feel foolish. It is coming, and when it arrives, you will know, because it will carry the unmistakable signature of something no human hand arranged. You have been surviving the financial pressure. I am beginning the shift toward provision that exceeds the pressure. not all at once, but the shift begins today. And shifts that begin today become visible in the days ahead. The week that is different from the week before it. The month where something arrives that was not there before. The moment you realize the anxiety that followed you into every morning has not visited in 3 days. That is the beginning, and it begins today. Now, hear what I am releasing in specific areas. In your finances, the assignment against your provision is broken. What was closing the streams I opened is being removed. The income that has been inconsistent, I am addressing what has been making it inconsistent. The debt that is felt permanent, I am moving on it from angles you cannot see yet. The financial door that has been closed, it is moving. It will not be fully open tomorrow, but it is moving today. And that movement is the beginning of what you have been praying for. In your calling, what I have been depositing in you through the waiting season is about to find expression. The gifts I placed in you were not given to stay in the waiting room. They were given for the open space that the clearing creates. The door in your calling that has been taking too long to open, I am addressing what has been against it. What I placed in you before you were born is not expiring. It is being released. The platform is closer than the blocked season made it feel. In your family, the generational pattern I am breaking today creates room for something new to grow where the old cycle lived. The relationship that has been in a complicated place. I am working in the heart of the other person in ways you cannot see from your position. I am not promising you immediate resolution. I am promising you that what I am doing is real, and that the movement you will notice in the days ahead is not coincidence. It is me, working from the inside of what the outside cannot yet show. In your name, the clearing I am doing in the spiritual realm today changes what flows toward you. When the false declaration attached to your name is removed, and the true one, the one I spoke over you before you were born, is restored, what was being filtered out starts arriving. The favor that belongs to a person whose name carries my declaration. The open doors that belong to someone whose identity is secured in heaven. The recognition that belongs to someone whose calling was appointed before time began. These start moving toward you as the name is cleared. Right now, in this moment, something is shifting in the heavens on your behalf. And what I am about to speak over your life is the declaration that heaven has been waiting to release through this message. This is it. This is the moment. Type, "I receive what you are doing today, Lord," in the comments if you believe something is happening today that you are about to miss, and you are choosing to receive it right now. In your mind, the restoration of expectation, the aliveness of specific, personal hope that has been wearing thin. I am restoring it today, not as a feeling you manufacture, but as a gift I give. The sense that something is genuinely coming, that the prayer is genuinely landing, that the waiting is genuinely ending. Not as wishful thinking, as the spiritual reality of someone whose eyes have just been opened to what has been surrounding them. In your body, the rest that comes when the sustained anxiety of financial pressure begins to lift. Not when the numbers change, before the numbers change. The peace that arrives before the circumstances have resolved. That peace is a gift for today, for tonight, for the sleep that comes when a person has received a word from God that something is moving and they believe it enough to close their eyes without the weight sitting on their chest the way it sat last night. The people who have watched this season in your life, who have seen the faithfulness and the pressing and the sustained trust through the long wait, they are about to see the first visible evidence of what I have been doing while they were watching. What looked to them like a person going through a long, dry season is about to become a person who received a word from God and watched it come to pass. And when they see it, when the evidence becomes visible, they will know. That was not luck. That was not coincidence. That was God moving on behalf of someone who did not miss what he was doing today. I told you through my word, the Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. I meant that, not passive. Still. The stillness that receives, the stillness of open hands and attentive eyes, the stillness of someone who heard that God is doing something today and decided to pay attention. That is the stillness I am asking for. And in that stillness, what I am moving toward, you will arrive. I am turning your financial pressure into a testimony of provision. Your spiritual numbness into the aliveness of restored expectation. Your ordinary day into the day that everything began to shift. What felt like another day of waiting was the day I chose to move. What felt like silence was the last quiet moment before the evidence began to arrive. What felt like nothing is the surface of something. And today, the surface is cracking open. You will notice the evidence beginning to arrive in specific ways. A financial development that you did not initiate, arriving from an unexpected direction. A conversation that opens something in the area of your calling that has been closed. A sense of lightness in the area that is felt heaviest, not because the situation resolved, but because something in the atmosphere around it changed. A peace that arrives before the answer. Specific, unexplainable, too accurate to attribute to coincidence. A moment when you feel, clearly and without manufacturing it, that something has shifted. That was today. That was what I did. These are my fingerprints on a day I specifically moved in. Learn to recognize them. And when you do, say it out loud. God did something today. Because he did. But my child, there is something I need to say about how you receive what I am doing today. Because receiving what God is doing requires a specific posture. And the posture that missed what I was doing in the previous seasons is not the posture that receives what I am doing in this one. I do not want visits from you only when the financial pressure is loudest. Only when the gap is most visible and the anxiety is most present. I want daily friendship. I want to be the first voice you reach for in the morning. Not as an emergency line when the day has become unbearable, but as the companion of the ordinary hours. Talk to me when the day is manageable. Talk to me when nothing seems particularly urgent. Talk to me in the car, in the quiet between tasks, in the moments that most people fill with noise. I am in those moments. I have always been in those moments. And what I have to say in the ordinary hours is as important as what I say in the crisis ones. Sometimes more so. Talk to me today, specifically. Not just in the prayer at the end of this video. Through the day. Tell me when you notice something that looks like what I described. Tell me when the fear comes back before the evidence arrives. Tell me when the doubt tries to reframe what happened today as ordinary after all. I want to walk with you through what I am doing. not just announce it and step back. Now, to receive what I am doing today, release some things at the threshold of what is opening. Let go of the financial fear that has become the default background of your days. I know it has been there long enough to feel permanent. I know it arrived before you were fully awake this morning, and it will try to arrive again tomorrow morning. I am not asking you to pretend it is not there. I am asking you to release the agreement that it has the final word. It does not. What I am doing today does. Let the fear know that today something shifted, and it does not have the authority over your tomorrow that it has been exercising over your yesterday. Let go of the spiritual numbness that developed in response to the long wait, the going through the motions of faith, the form of expectation without the aliveness of it. I am not condemning it. I understand exactly how it developed. But today, it needs to be set down. Because what I am releasing today requires an open, expectant heart to receive it. And a heart that has decided nothing significant is happening will not notice the fingerprints of the significant thing I am doing. Let go of the limitation that the generational pattern placed on your expectation, the ceiling that was inherited, the unconscious agreement that provision only goes so far, that breakthrough only happens for certain kinds of people, that the family story does not include this kind of turnaround. That ceiling is being lifted today, and when the ceiling lifts, the expectation needs to lift with it. Give yourself permission to hope at the height of what I actually prepared, not at the height that the generational pattern suggested was reasonable. Let go of the bitterness that has accumulated through the financial season, the quiet resentment toward a God who seemed to be taking too long, the comparison between your financial reality and someone else's that has been making the wait feel like evidence of something wrong with you. Release it. Not because the wait was not hard, it was, but because what I am doing today is better than what the bitterness would have you expect, and I need your hands open to receive it. Let go of the label that has been attached to your name. Whatever it said, that you are not the kind of person this happens for, that your financial situation defines your future, that the pattern in your family cannot be broken. Release agreement with all of it. Because today I cleared what was attached to your name that did not belong there, and you cannot walk in the restored name while still agreeing with the false one. Right? Today, I receive what God is doing. In the comments if you are choosing right now, in this moment, to release what has been keeping your hands closed and open them fully to what I am releasing today. Do not go back to treating today as ordinary after this. Do not return to the financial anxiety as if I did not speak over it today. Do not pick up the spiritual numbness you just set down. Do not go back to agreeing with the ceiling the generational pattern placed on your expectation. Do not return to the label I just cleared from your name. Walk through this day differently after this. Look differently at what arrives, with the eyes of someone whose eyes have been opened, who knows that what surrounds them is more than what threatens them. Speak differently about your finances, not with denial of the reality, but with the added truth that God is moving on it today. Expect differently of this week, not as a passive wish, but as the active, open-handed expectation of someone who heard from God and believes it. You are not the same person who pressed play. Something has shifted. Something has been named. Something has been broken in the spiritual realm. and something has been restored. In your name, in your expectation, in the atmosphere around your life. Honor that. Carry it carefully through the rest of today. And do not let the noise of the day convince you that nothing happened, my beloved child. I am not finished speaking to you yet. But first, let me give you words to bring before me. Before we move forward together, let us pray. Lord Jesus, I come before you today with a heart that is ready to receive what you are doing, even though I could not fully see it until this moment. A mind that has been carrying financial worry longer than it should have. A spirit that has grown quieter in its expectation than you designed it to be. And a soul that needed to hear what I heard today. That today is not ordinary. That you are moving. That what has been operating against my provision is being broken, and that my name is being cleared. I know you have been with me through every day of this waiting. Through every morning, the financial pressure arrived before my eyes were fully open. Through every prayer, I prayed about the gap between what I had and what was needed. Through every moment, I chose to trust when trusting felt like work. You were there in all of it, not working slowly, working precisely. And what you were preparing through the long season is what you are releasing today. Today, Lord, I receive what you are doing. I receive the breaking of the financial assignment that has been operating against my provision. I receive the breaking of the generational pattern, the cycle of lack, the ceiling of almost, the inheritance of limitation. It stops with me. In this generation, by your authority, I receive the clearing of my name in the spiritual realm, the removal of every false label, every accusation, every declaration that does not come from you. And in its place, I receive the name you gave me, called, chosen, covered, appointed, provided for. I break every generational chain that has tied my finances to the patterns of the past, every inherited agreement with lack, every unconscious ceiling placed on what is possible for someone in my family line. I break it in the name of Jesus. I declare that the pattern stops here, that what flows through my hands from this season forward is not determined by what flowed through the hands before me. It is determined by what you declared over me before I was born. I release the financial fear that has been my default. I release the spiritual numbness that developed in the long wait. I release the bitterness toward the delay. I release the label that was attached to my name that did not belong there. I place all of it in your hands, and I open my hands to receive what you are releasing in its place. I ask you for the wisdom to recognize your fingerprints on what arrives in the days ahead, to see the unexpected provision and know it is from you, to notice the movement in the areas that have been still and receive it as the evidence of what you did today, to hold on to what was spoken here when the morning comes and the familiar anxiety tries to reclaim its position. Lord, restore honor to my name. In the places it has been diminished, in my finances, in my calling, in the way I am seen. Restore what belongs to someone whose name you engraved in your hands. Let the people around me see the shift. Let the evidence of what you are doing become visible in ways that leave no room for another explanation. Thank you for moving today. Thank you for choosing today to be the day. Thank you for the interruption, for placing this word in my path at the specific moment when I needed to hear that something is happening. Thank you for not letting this day pass without me knowing what you were doing in it. I receive it, all of it, with open hands and expectant eyes. In your name I pray. Amen. My beloved child, I am not finished speaking to you yet. There is still more I want you to carry through the rest of today. That prayer moved something, not just in you, in the spiritual realm around your life. Because when a person prays with open hands and specific faith, when they name what has been operating against them and declare the breaking of it, something shifts that the enemy cannot easily reverse. What you just declared in that prayer was not just words. It was spiritual authority exercised in my name. And what is broken in my name stays broken. Now hear me for these final moments, because I want to leave you with something specific for every hour between now and when the evidence becomes visible. The prayer you just prayed opened something. And what I am about to say now is the word that seals what was opened, so that what was done in this prayer cannot be undone by the noise of tomorrow. I am on it. The financial situation you named in your heart while you prayed, I am on it. Not tomorrow, today. In the hours between now and when you sleep tonight, I am working in the unseen places connected to every visible area you brought before me. The assignment that has been against your provision, it has no more authority over what was prepared for you. The generational pattern, it has been addressed at the root. The false label on your name, it has been cleared. What I do today, I do with the full weight of my authority and the full intention of my love. When tomorrow morning arrives and the familiar anxiety tries to return, reminded of today, reminded of what was spoken, reminded of what was broken and what was released. And then call my name before you reach for anything else, before the phone, before the day makes its first demand. Just, Lord, I received it yesterday. Help me hold it today. And I will be there before you finish the sentence. When the financial evidence arrives, and it will arrive in the specific, unmistakable ways I described, receive it witut minimizing it. Do not explain it away as coincidence. Do not shrink the miracle by finding natural explanations for it. Say what it is. That was God. That was what He said He was doing today. And let the receiving of it be the foundation of the expectation for what comes next. Because what arrives first is not all of what I am doing. It is the first evidence. And evidence is how faith becomes sight. When you are weak in the days ahead, and there will be moments of weakness, because the evidence does not arrive all at once, I will be your strength. When the old fear tries to reclaim the space I cleared today, I will remind you of what happened here. When the day looks ordinary again, look again, because I do not stop working when the announcement ends. I am always doing something. And what I am doing is always for you. Go forward, eyes open, hands open, expectation restored. Today is the day things began to shift, and what I began today, I will complete. Dear friend, if this message touched your heart and you feel led to support this ministry, you can use Super Thanks below. Your support helps us continue sharing messages of prayer, hope, and healing with those who need them most. God bless you abundantly. Type Amen if you received what God is doing today. and share this message with someone who needs their eyes opened to what heaven is moving in their life right now.